The Conjuring house sits in Rhode Island. It is a quiet piece of land, old wood, cold walls. A history that never settled. People who visit say the house feels alive. You hear taps on the walls. You hear footsteps on the stairs. You feel watched even when you stand alone in the room. The story of Annabelle connects to this house, not because the doll lived there, but because the same forces that moved through the Warrens' lives touched both places. Ed and Lorraine Warren believed the house carried a presence that never left. They said that some spirits stay tied to violence. They said some spirits grow stronger when people fear them. The current owners put the house up for sale. The news spread fast. Paranormal fans asked one question: is Annabelle haunting the Conjuring house now? The rumor grew after a visitor filmed a strange event. A door opened on its own. A shadow crossed the hallway. The visitor claimed he heard a girl laughing, even though no children were inside the house. People online linked the events to Annabelle. They said the doll's influence follows attention. They said that when people talk about her, she becomes active. Paranormal forums repeated one story. A collector saw the house listing. His phone buzzed 3 times that night. No caller ID, only a child's voice whispering his name. The Warrens' museum where Annabelle was kept is closed. Some believe the containment was disturbed. Others say the doll never needed a display case. They say the spirit inside her knows how to move without being seen. They say she can travel through fear. They say any place tied to the Warrens is a door she can use. Investigators visited the Conjuring house after the listing. They placed static cameras. They placed audio recorders. They kept lights off. In the middle of the night, one recorder picked up a soft knock, then 2 more, and a girl's voice saying, "Let me in." The voice was thin. It did not sound human. It did not echo in the room. It simply appeared on the recording. The team checked the windows the next morning. Everything was locked. No footprints outside. No wind strong enough to knock anything. One investigator said he felt a cold hand on his shoulder. He said he turned around fast. No one was behind him. His camera malfunctioned at that exact moment. Only a black frame was saved. Locals avoid the property. They know the stories. They know the house carries something old. They say the land remembers every scream. They say the house never forgives families who try to live inside it. The rumors grew after a real estate worker visited the house alone. He walked through each room with a clipboard. He checked the walls, the wiring, the floorboards. He worked in silence. When he reached the basement door, he heard a soft knock from the other side. He assumed it was a loose pipe. He opened the door. The basement lights were off. The air was thick. Something felt wrong. He took 1 step down. His phone vibrated. The screen showed a picture from his own gallery. It was a photo of a doll with black eyes. The doll was not one he recognized. The file had no timestamp. The photo vanished when he tried to open it again. His phone shut off on its own. He walked out fast. He left the basement unchecked. He told his office he would not return to the property. He said the house felt aware. He said the house knew when someone was frightened. Online investigators took interest. They watched old interviews of the Warrens. They looked for clues. One clip showed Lorraine saying that Annabelle is not a doll. She said Annabelle is a conduit. She said the spirit inside her searches for energy. She said it searches for human attention. Fans used this to argue that Annabelle could reach the Conjuring house through stories alone. They believed the doll's influence spreads when people speak her name. They believed attention acts as a bridge. A week later, a family visited the house during a scheduled tour. They walked through the living room. They stood near the old fireplace. The guide shared the history. He spoke about seances. He spoke about the original Perrin family. While he talked, the youngest child in the group pointed at the corner and asked who the girl in the white dress was. No one else saw her. The girl said the figure stared at her without blinking. The mother took her daughter's hand. The child pulled away and said the girl told her to hide before the sun goes down. The family ended the tour early. They refused to enter the bedrooms upstairs. Later that night, the guide checked the security footage. At the exact moment the girl looked at the corner, the camera glitched. A single white blur appeared for 2 frames. Then the feed returned to normal. The guide deleted the clip and told no one. He left the job the next morning. The sale of the house got more attention. Some buyers wanted it for the fame. Others wanted it for the fear. One buyer asked a simple question. Is the Annabelle case connected to the house now? The agent did not answer. He said that the stories attract people. He said fear increases interest. 2 paranormal vloggers entered the property for a nighttime investigation. They streamed everything. Their viewers watched closely. In the kitchen, one vlogger placed a ball on the floor. He said if a spirit is here, move the ball. The ball rolled forward slowly. The viewers commented fast. Some said the floor was uneven. Others said something pushed it. In the hallway, they heard a small knock. Then another. Then 3 more. The knocks formed a pattern, a rhythm. The sound came from inside the walls. They followed it to a bedroom. The temperature in the room dropped. The vlogger's breath became visible. He asked if any presence wanted to communicate. A voice whispered behind him. The mic caught a single word, help. He ran out of the room. The stream ended suddenly. The next morning, he posted an update. He said something touched his back. He said he felt thin fingers. He said he will not return. Researchers started comparing events between the Conjuring house and old Annabelle cases. They noticed that many sounds were similar. Soft knocks, light whispers, sudden drops in temperature. They said these events often appeared when Annabelle's case was active. People began to wonder if the doll's spirit could travel. They said the Conjuring house might be open to her influence. They said the house works like a vessel for any entity tied to fear. The story deepened when a local historian shared an old record. He said the land around the Conjuring house carried activity long before the Warrens arrived. He described strange events from the 1800s. Farmers reported missing tools. Children heard voices near the woods. One family moved away after seeing a woman standing outside their window every night. These records made people believe the land attracts spirits. The Annabelle rumor grew after a new visitor entered the house for a private look. She walked through the dining room and felt pressure on her chest. She said it felt like someone pushed her from the inside. She turned around fast. No one stood near her. She left the room. Her heartbeat was strong and loud. She said the house felt angry at her. She reached the upstairs hallway. A door at the end was half open. She said she saw a small figure sitting inside the room. She thought it was a child. When she stepped closer, the figure vanished. The air grew heavy. She heard soft giggling from behind her. She ran down the stairs and left the property. She said she heard footsteps behind her until she reached her car. That same night, she received a voicemail. It was 1 second long. No number was shown. The voicemail contained a single sound. A girl laughing. The voice sounded like the giggle she heard in the hallway. The woman deleted the message. She blocked unknown calls. She did not return to the house. A paranormal group tried to test the Annabelle theory. They placed the doll in the living room. They said the doll was not special. They said it was only a trigger object. They placed 3 cameras around it. They left the house and monitored the feed from a car outside. Around midnight, the doll shifted slightly. The head leaned to the side. The team checked the footage. There was no wind, no vibration, no one inside. One member said a shadow moved behind the doll. The camera captured a thin shape passing near the wall. It moved quickly. The team re-entered the house to retrieve the equipment. Their flashlight flickered as soon as they stepped inside. They took the doll back to the car. The member who carried it said he felt the doll vibrating. He dropped it on the seat and stepped back. The team decided to end the investigation early. They believed something in the house responded to the presence of the doll. They did not know if it was Annabelle. They only knew the reaction was strong and immediate. Buyers continued to ask questions. Some wanted the truth. Others wanted a legend they could promote. The owners stayed quiet. They did not confirm anything. They did not deny anything. They said the house speaks for itself. A psychic visited the property. She walked through the rooms with slow steps. She touched the walls. She said the energy was crowded. She said the house held memories from many spirits. She said one presence felt different, like it did not belong to the land. She said it felt like an intruder. She described a small shape that followed her from room to room. She said the shape carried a cruel intention. She said it wanted attention. She said it wanted a home. She ended the reading early. She said she would not enter the basement. She said something waited there. Her report reached paranormal forums. Members connected her words to the Annabelle legend. They said the doll's spirit might have found a new location. They said the sale of the house gave the spirit an opening. They said the energy of constant visitors created a path. A local reporter interviewed neighbors. One said he heard screams from the house at night. Another said she saw lights flickering when the house was empty. One man said his dog refused to walk near the property. The dog shook and pulled away every time they passed the mailbox. These reports intensified interest. The listing view count increased. Ghost hunters traveled from other states. Some wanted to film. Others wanted to stay overnight. One ghost hunter set up a sleeping bag in the living room. He kept his camera aimed at himself. Around 3 a.m., he woke up suddenly. The lights were off. His camera captured his face clearly. He looked around the room. A soft voice whispered near his left ear. He froze. The voice said 2 words, "Come play." He left the house before sunrise. He posted the footage online. Viewers claimed the voice sounded like a child. Some claimed it matched old Annabelle recordings. The clip went viral. People used it as proof that Annabelle might be haunting the Conjuring house. After the viral clip spread online, the Conjuring house turned into a destination for anyone who believed the Annabelle spirit was active again. The owners tried to limit visits. They said too many people walking through the property disturbed the environment. They said the house changed when too many strangers gathered inside it. Their warning did not stop anyone. A research team from a paranormal institute requested permission to perform a controlled investigation. They brought motion sensors. They brought temperature meters. They brought sealed audio devices that activated only when triggered by sound. Their goal was simple. They wanted to see if the disturbances in the house matched the patterns from past Annabelle cases. They placed equipment in 3 rooms: the living room, the hallway, and the basement door. They kept notes from every minute inside the house. The temperature in the living room dropped several times. Each drop lasted only a second. The team said these drops resembled cold spots often recorded near haunted dolls. In the hallway, a motion sensor activated twice. Both times, the hallway was empty. The team checked the sensor for errors. They found none. At the basement door, the audio device activated at 2:30 in the morning. It recorded a soft scratching sound, then a whisper. The whisper was faint. It sounded like a child calling someone by name, but the name was unclear. The team reviewed the evidence the next day. They compared the audio to old Annabelle recordings from the Warren files. The scratching pattern matched a known incident from the museum, recorded decades earlier. The team did not claim this as proof. They said only that the pattern was the same. They said the pattern was rare. After the investigation, the team left the house. One member felt uneasy on the drive home. She said she felt watched in the back seat. She looked at the rear view mirror. Nothing appeared behind her. Later that night, she heard tapping on her bedroom window. 3 taps. Then silence. Her house was on the 2nd floor. No tree branches touched the glass. No wind at night. She moved to a guest room and did not sleep. Word of the Institute's findings reached potential buyers. Some became more interested. They said owning the Conjuring house would bring attention. They said people would pay to experience the activity. Others canceled their appointments. They said the house carried a dangerous presence now. They said it was too active. A new theory started online. People believed Annabelle was not physically in the house. They believed her influence attached itself to the attention surrounding the sale. They said the house turned into a magnet. They said the energy from visitors made the environment fertile for disturbances. A former caretaker of the Warren Museum posted a long message. He said Annabelle was never trapped by wood or glass. He said the case around her was symbolic. He said the real containment came from rituals performed around her. He said that when the museum closed, those rituals stopped. He said a spirit like Annabelle does not stay still when attention fades. He said it moves toward places where fear grows. His message triggered new debates. Some said he exaggerated. Others said he revealed the truth. Paranormal bloggers wrote long articles connecting his words to the recent events at the Conjuring house. They said the spirit inside the doll might be feeding on the fear created by the listing. They said every visitor who enters the house strengthens the presence. A documentary team entered the property for a 24-hour shoot. They placed cameras in every room. They interviewed locals. They spoke to past visitors. They explored each floor slowly. In the evening, they sat in the living room to record dialogue. The main camera captured something small moving behind the couch. A dark blur. Quick. Low to the ground. The crew thought it was a mouse. When they moved the couch, nothing was there. During the night, one crew member walked to the kitchen to get water. He said he saw a child sitting at the dining table. The child looked down at the table, not at him. The crew member froze. The child lifted her head slowly. Her eyes were dark. She smiled, then she vanished. He dropped the glass and ran back to the living room. He told the team what he saw. They searched the house. No one was found. At 3 a.m, the documentary team heard footsteps in the hallway. The steps were small. They were slow. They recorded the sound clearly. The camera facing the hallway showed nothing. The sound grew louder. Then it stopped suddenly. A toy ball rolled into the frame. No one touched it. No one was near it. The crew ended the shoot at sunrise. They said the activity was stronger than expected. They said the house did not feel empty. They said the presence followed them. One member refused to return for reshoots. The property's real estate page received thousands of new views after the documentary preview released. People asked the same question again. Is Annabelle haunting the house? The listing agent refused to comment. He said the stories increased interest, but he would not confirm anything. Interest in the Conjuring house reached its peak when the final group of investigators entered the property before the official sale. They kept their approach simple. No complex gear. No rituals. Only cameras, audio recorders, and handwritten logs. They walked through the rooms slowly. They noted every sound. They noted every shadow. The house felt still at first. The air was heavy. The walls felt colder than normal. A faint smell of damp wood spread through the hallway. One investigator said the house felt like it was waiting. In the living room, a chair moved slightly. Only an inch. The camera caught it. No vibration. No one near it. The team marked the event. They continued. In the bedroom at the end of the hall, an investigator placed a small doll on the bed. It was plain. No markings. No history. He said it was only a trigger object. The room fell quiet. The house made no sound. Then the door behind them closed on its own. The click echoed through the hallway. The team stood still. Their recorders captured breathing sounds inside the room. None of the investigators were speaking. They left the room slowly. No one touched the door. No one tried to open it. They agreed to end the experiment early. When they reviewed the audio from that night, they found something disturbing. A soft voice whispered next to the recorder. The voice said a name. It was the name of one of the investigators. The whisper came at a moment when the room was empty. The investigator who heard his name refused to continue the review process. He said the voice felt close. He said it felt like someone stood beside him. The real estate agency paused the listing after these reports. They said they needed time to address the concerns. They did not share details. They did not give statements to the press. They said the property review was standard, but everyone knew interest in the house shifted from curiosity to fear. Locals believed the activity grew stronger because too many people entered the house with cameras. They said the spirits in the house became restless. They said a new presence joined the old ones. Some said it felt like a child. Some said it felt like something using a child's voice. They said the house changed after midnight. They said the hallway lights flickered even when the power was stable. Online communities pushed the theory that Annabelle influenced the house from afar. They said the doll's spirit does not stay in one place. They said it travels where fear gathers. They said the Conjuring house became a perfect feeding ground. They said the mix of history, visitors, and attention created the right environment. A few weeks later, the agency quietly moved the listing to a private network. Only selected buyers were allowed to view it. They signed documents that prevented them from sharing details. Some buyers visited once and backed out. Others visited twice and asked for time. No one stayed inside after sunset. The closing of the story comes from a simple observation. The Conjuring house does not sit empty. People who walk near it say the windows reflect shapes that should not be there. They say the upstairs hallway light turns on for a second, then off again. They say you sometimes hear knocking from the back of the house when no one is inside. The rumors about Annabelle never stopped. Some believe her presence touched the property. Some believe the house only awakened on its own. Some believe the two forces connected. The truth remains uncertain. What is certain is this: everyone who enters the Conjuring house leaves with the same feeling. They say something watches you from the corners. They say the silence feels alive. They say the presence does not follow you home, but it waits for you to return.